This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show. I have to cover this blasphemy from Lil Nas X. For those of you out there that don't know of Lil Nas X, well, you'll know of him now, and probably you've heard of him and probably don't remember his name. A lot of people don't follow this pop culture garbage. The only reason I know is because I expose these people over and over and over again to show the young teens out there who these people really are, who they serve, and what they're trying to do to them psychologically, as far as break them down and brainwash them and corrupt them and pervert them. That's what these people are supposed to do. So I'll get into Lil Nas X. As you can probably see on the screen, Lil Nas X, the image is just enough to make anyone out there want to vomit. But of course they can get away with these things, constantly mocking Christ, and then using these things to say, well, I'm just, resurrecting my career. I'm coming back from the dead, like Jesus came back from the dead. So then they can get away with blasphemy right in front of us. And people out there go, oh, you're overreacting to it. But if it was anybody else, if it was any other God, if it was Buddha, if it was any other thing in our society, any other, celebrity, whatever it would be, people would cancel it. They would call for massive cancellations, be offended by it, since we're in a society where you can't even talk freely without being canceled openly, unless, of course, you're someone like me who refuses to be canceled. But that's the society we live in now, right? Hypocrites, like the Bible says, hypocrites all. That's what we're living among. So I'll get into it in a second. I just want you to know, on my backup channel, A Call for Vengeance, I uploaded a video today you should check out. I put it up over there because there's a good chance it gets a strike because some of the stuff in it about Big Mike. So I have it linked below. Make sure you sub to that channel now if you haven't. It's a pretty funny video about Big Mike. Big Mike is up at night terrified, probably the thing between its legs. But no, Big Mike is up at night terrified about what's to come in 2024. Of course, Big Mike, who just happened to be one of the executive producers of Leave the World Behind, is fearful of what's going to come in 2024. Can't believe it, oh, it's so fearful. Maybe because it's scripted and Big Mike knows the script. Obviously, that's why. So that video is linked below. I figure there's a good chance that gets a strike, at least on the other channel. I have a warning available, so I wouldn't be able to not upload. And of course, on this channel, I uploaded that video on Jimmy Kimmel. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. There's a good chance it's getting taken down very, very soon. Not by me. I'll leave it up. But in the event that gets a strike, I can't upload for 7 days, so make sure you sub to my other channel, especially to watch that video below. It's linked there now. Do it quickly. Make sure you're subbed, and I'll continue on here with this Lil Nas X thing. So again, if anyone else was doing this, depicting this, they call for cancellation. Now, as a Christian, as somebody who has been attempted to be canceled, which again, you can't cancel somebody unless they give in and allow themselves to be canceled, which is what they're subconsciously doing to people, right? Oh, cancel culture, oh this, oh you can't say that. So people are only getting canceled because they're allowing themselves to be canceled. There's no, eventually they will be throwing people in prison for free speech, of course, because that's what we're headed towards. But as a Christian, or just as a follower of Christ, I should say, I don't want to even use the earthly term Christianity, as the follower of Christ, I have no interest in canceling anyone else. In fact, I just want to openly be able to, go after these vipers the way that I've constantly gone after them and expose them for what they truly are. That's what they're canceling people for, is that they don't want anyone to realize what's really going on. They don't want to be exposed because there would be an uprising, so to speak, against these wicked people in high places that the Bible warns about. So I don't call for cancellation of Lil Nas. I'm just pointing out what they're doing, and then the fact that these are the same people that aren't allowing us to call them out, condemn them, expose them, and belittle them for what they really are. So Lil Nas X on the cross for a new single, but of course Christians will probably defend it. Why would Christians defend it? Well, because they believe whatever they hear in today's society, right? Recently, Lil Nas X let people know that he was starting his own Christian era. Of course, he's mocking, and this is how this is all starting, right? I covered this a month ago, where Lil Nas X said that he was entering a Christian era with a new song and telling critics he can still, to an eggplant, right? I don't know how to word it here for the algorithm, but he could still ride on that Hershey highway, he's pretty much saying. He's saying he could do all these disgusting acts and still be Christian. Of course, he's just mocking Christians, but there will actually be, I know a lot of you go, there's no way anyone's buying this, right? No. There'll be Christians who buy this because they love his music, right? So they want to believe that these people that they pretend they don't worship are actually Christians, but they're wolves in sheep's clothing. And this is just another example where it's so obvious what these people are. Yet people out there will say, give him a chance. Who are you to judge, right? All right, he could literally be on an album cover, mocking Christ's dying on the cross, and people go, well, he's using it as inspiration. He's saying that he's getting his career back. He's rising from the dead. So they're allowed to mock Jesus, right? I mean, he literally could, these people go on TV, they go in these music videos, and they put, they mock the crown of thorns, they mock the sacrifice that Christ made on the cross for all of us. And it's okay for them to do it because they're comparing, a rap career to actually dying and on the cross and the persecution that Christ went through. I mean, it's unbelievable what they can get away with, right? Now, the suckers out there will actually think that these people, are doing this out of love, right? Because they're weak. How many times a day I hear that from people? I used to hear it every day. Now nobody really watches anymore. But I used to go, oh my gosh, you're judging these people. They're wonderful people. Who are you to say, as if you're not supposed to point out wickedness, right? Like, who are you to say that they're not saved? Oh, we're not supposed to point out wickedness, so we're supposed to accept and tolerate everything. And then, of course, when young Christians out there are going to lukewarm churches, they're believing that, oh, it's okay to listen to this, listen to that, watch this, watch that, pretty much not realizing they're doing the do without will mindset and then claiming to be Christian. Now, a lot of them don't realize, what they're experiencing as far as a lukewarm church. They think that's the normal Christianity, right? So we have a lukewarm church that's allowing all these people to pretend to be Christian. Nobody calls them out on it. No one exposes them on it because they love the earthly music, et cetera, of these people. Now, anyone with common sense would know Little Nas X is not Christian, and it's not, but this is part of what they're doing, right? They're saying that he's starting a Christian era, even though he's mocking. They're saying that he, all these things, right? Who are you to say anything about him, right? This is the same guy, of course, that still wants to talk about doing perverted acts, but in the past, let me just point out, he's infamous. He's famous for his music video, one of them where he was doing lap dances with Satan, right? So people out there were like, it's just a music video. Again, for the 1,000 trillionth time, these people are, worshiping Lucifer in their music videos. Nobody thinks anything of it, right? Same guy who was selling shoes called Satan shoes, which supposedly had human blood in it. Now, of course, they came out and they said, anyone that says it's human blood, it's a conspiracy theory. It's just some type of red dye in the shoe. So they just kind of like poo-pooed it and said, hey, it's not a big deal, right? It had the pentagram on it, right? And the mark of the beast. It was quoting Lucifer falling from heaven like lightning, the thing I always expose, the Bible verse, I should say, that I always expose in my videos, which is Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And I said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So that was on the shoe, et cetera, et cetera. No, still people are like, hey, he's not really a Satanist. Not to mention the fact that he is, pretended that men could get pregnant, all this other stuff over and over and over and over and over again. So Little Nas has announced his new song, which is titled J Christ. The track, which arrives this week on January the 12th, is dedicated to the man who had the greatest comeback of all time. That's what he says, right? The man who had the greatest comeback. I mean, do you see how they mock, right? Jesus had the greatest comeback of all time. And everyone's like, yeah, he's not really mocking. So this is how they get away with openly mocking all of us, right? And it's like, well, if they slap you, I mean, they're not only slapping Christians in the face. I mean, they're literally, getting away with this stuff in the open while they censor us clapping back at them or exposing them. That's the problem, right? They could do this stuff, and if we clap back, well, it's hate speech because Little Nas X is in a protected group or community that you can't question. And if you question them, you're hateful, right? Which is incredible. It's incredible that there's Christians out there that defend this certain group of people, right? And just overlook everything in the Bible. But, that's another story for another day. So it goes on to say Little Nas X wrote in capital letters on social media, J Christ will be Little Nas X's first single since 2022 when he released Late to the Party. And it says, last year, Little Nas X's documentary, Little Nas X Long Live Montero. Again, that's another one that I covered. I forgot about that, Montero. Debuted at the Toronto Film Festival. It was announced last week that the movie, which follows the global tour behind the artist's 2021 debut album, Montero, which will air on HBO. And again, if anybody out there hasn't seen all the videos I've done on Little Nas X, if you are new to all this stuff, let me know in the comment section below if you want me to put up on the website. If you're a member of the website, I have thousands of videos. There's, close to 1,000 over there, new content over there, but I have to go through and find all these things. I don't know if they're things that necessarily interest everybody, like Little Nas X. I put them on YouTube because I'm trying to reach a new audience, I'm trying to reach younger people out there, help them wake up. But obviously, if you're already awake when you see this, you're like, it's not really, it's not really a surprise that Little Nas X is on the cross. But in a sense, it is a surprise, right? Because where are the Christians to push back against this? Where are the Christians calling this thing out for what it really is, this demon for what it really is, right? But watch me, I'll probably get a bullying strike on the video for even suggesting that he's not Christian, and Christians out there will probably agree. They're like, how could you suggest that? How could you say that, right? They misinterpret scripture. They probably quote me and say that he used that without sin cast the first stone. Meanwhile, these people are openly worshiping Lucifer in front of us, and we're not only allowing them to, we're allowing them to influence our children. We're allowing them to influence the youth out there, right? Instead of stopping them. See, I constantly reference this, but in other time periods, Satanists exist, witches existed. They never had power like this because people stopped them from existing. How does that sound, right? They weren't putting them in trial. They weren't going through that because they saw the stuff that they were doing for their rituals, and they said, this isn't just people playing make-believe and dress up. Like in today's society, they want you to believe that. No, they were performing these rituals, getting caught performing it because, people would notice when their kids went missing back then, right? Then they had to figure out other ways to get around it. We have satanic panic. We have them obviously having their own covens where they birth these children in. But back then, they were like, has anyone seen Timmy? Timmy's gone. And everybody got a pitchfork and they went and looked for Timmy. Then they found where Timmy was. Okay? And God bless Timmy. I mean, I'm not making a light of it or a joke of it, but Timmy was, with these people had taken Timmy and they found out what was going on, right? And Timmy might not have made it, but guess what? The witch and the Satanist didn't make it either because the citizens stopped it from happening ever again. Now we're enabling it. And they're actually stopping people like me from talking and exposing it, which is why I've gotten to a point where I'm not even allowed to talk. I got to make 75 million different aliases to do it. And, it kills it off so you can't expose these people for what they truly are. Because we're threats to them. Because we're not, me and you, I say we, us, we're a threat to Satan. We're a threat to these minions. We're not a part of the alt-right. We're not a part of controlled media. So this guy can get away with this, and everybody out there is like, yeah, Lil Nas X, he's changed his ways. He's become a Christian. That's all it takes. It's amazing. Oh, Kanye West is suddenly Christian. Oh, Lil Nas X, suddenly Christian. Then you see the fruits that they bear. And they're rotten fruits. They're not even fruit, right? They're like hardened, chiseled turds that look like fruits. They're like, is that a fruit? It looks like an old prune. Yeah, looks like an old turd. Oh, Kanye West is Christian. Look at him walking on water with Joel Osteen. No, the Bible tells us we should be able to see this stuff. Anyone out there see it other than me? I mean, I'm sure most of you do who are longtime listeners to the channel, because I know how smart all of you are. That's why, we all think alike. We're all like-minded. We see this stuff. But how anyone else out there doesn't is amazing. So these people just constantly will go, they'll be horrible and wicked out in the open. Then they'll suddenly go, I'm saved. And everyone will go, oh, okay. And then you continue to watch them, and they continue to mock Christ right to you. And we're supposed to go, well, we don't know. We don't know if Lil Nas X is saved. Oh, no. Well, he just said he's still, whatting on the pee-pee. He just said, recently that men can get pregnant, and he's mocking that. I mean, how many things do you want to see to know the fruits of these people, right? No, but he's saved. He said he's saved, so you have to accept that he's saved. And if he wants to put himself as Jesus, depict himself and blaspheme Christ on the cross, you don't get it. He's honoring God because he's saying that he's been persecuted like Jesus was. Because why? How is Lil Nas persecuted? Could somebody let me know? Because he's only like one of the most pushed rappers in the history of society, or whatever kind of music he makes in the history of society. Oh, he's persecuted, right? Oh, let me guess. He's persecuted because his preference in the bedroom. Oh, right. No, they're not actually persecuted. They're the most protected people other than the ones who like bagels in our society. Can't question them, can't talk about them. But Lil Nas X, we're supposed to believe, is doing this to pay homage to Christ, right? Because it's paying homage to Christ when you dress up, or mock the crucifixion of Jesus, just like Kanye with the crown of thorns which Jesus walks. Everyone's like, oh, he's a Christian, right? When Jesus walks, he's just, dressing up as a depiction of Christ, or at least mocking the same thing, doing the same stuff, right? Crown of thorns, etc. Oh, then Kanye's bad now and all this stuff. Oh, but Kanye said he's saved now. And everyone's like, oh, he's saved again. Okay, let's all follow Kanye. He's great. He's trying to expose the cabal. Oh, yeah. And then he does, his church rituals, these things I've exposed where he has these concerts mocking God, mocking Revelation, having Marilyn Manson there with him, and people are still like, no, he's saved. I mean, their brains are that twisted, they can't figure this stuff out. How much, I know there's chemtrail, I know there's fluoride in the water, but I mean, how much is, how much do you have in yours? Do you have a filter? Because if it's getting to you to the point where you actually think that Lil Nas X or Kanye West are Christians, then you're really behind in the game. But that's what the alt-right media actually does for these people. They gatekeep. They put people like Kanye West on the alt-right media platforms, right? I'm sure they'll do something with Lil Nas X in the future to say, hey, he's got great music. He says he's saved now. I mean, who are we to say anything? He's just joking around here. He's joking around. Oh, okay, right. And then the kids out there think Christianity is this one big flip-flop. You could say this, you could do that. You're not held accountable for your sins. You can mock Jesus' crucifixion. I mean, pretty unbelievable that, this stuff is going on right in front of us. When years ago, I'm talking, when I say like 100 years ago what they would do to these people, okay, that's a while ago. But I mean, 5-10 years ago, this stuff was like, you couldn't do this stuff without pushback. It shows you how much control they have, not just over the media, but over people's minds. And obviously, of course, the 501c3 churches too. So just wanted to cover it. It makes me just absolutely sick. And it'll make me sicker when people share with me, because I'm sure they will on the website. Like, Christian preachers who are like, "Hey, saved," and just like they do with a lot of people on the website, like in the past, have posted a lot of these churches that you look up and you're like, "Look who's giving them the sermon," and it's like a guy in a dress, and you're like, you just can't even believe some of the stuff you see that it's going on in churches, etc. It's very lukewarm, right? The Bible warns about lukewarm Christianity. It's beyond lukewarm at this point. I mean, it's not even Christianity, really, or I hate to even use that term. It's an earthly term, but I think you all know what I mean. Followers of Christ. That people, go to these temples, churches, whatever they're going to, not temples, and they're listening to these people and they're like, accept this, love this, tolerate this, instead of going, wait a minute, you're contradicting the Bible. They just go along with it, right? Because nobody has a backbone anymore. Nobody has a spine. And that's, of course, all filtered down from this communist takeover as well. So anyway, I had to rant about it. If you didn't earlier in the video, I have a video up on Big Mike over on my other channel, Call for Vengeance. I highly recommend you subscribe now. Again, I think I'm going to get a strike this week. I feel it. Usually when I feel it, it happens. And when I do, I can't upload for a week. 2 strikes is 14 days. 3 strikes, I'm gone. So I recommend you sub to all the channels when I mention the channels. Don't hesitate. Don't wait to do it. And make sure and double check that you are. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm subbed to it. Because there's so many. There's so many times every month this happens. So I got to make sure you guys are subbed over there. Otherwise, I'm not even going to continue doing it over here. I'll just do it on the website exclusively. And if you haven't joined the website, uprisingrevival.com, I recommend you do so now. There's a lot of exclusive content, archive content, and the forum itself is extremely active. Every minute or so, a couple of minutes, people upload stuff on the forum. Real, actual news, real things that are actually going on. And of course, very informative stuff. If you want to share videos, etc., you can do that over there as well. You can't do that here on YouTube. And as most of you know, you can't do that on your social media sites like Facebook, because I hear people complaining to me all the time about how they get banned put in jail on Facebook, etc. Now, I don't have those types of accounts. I just have my channel here. But you could post those things on the website, meet like-minded people, share this type of info. So thanks again, everybody who is here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. More to come, I'm sure, because every single day there's some type of massive blasphemy of Christ by these famous people who are involved in the most wicked, disturbing acts, but they get away with it while the rest of us get silenced. And then they say, oh, we got to cancel so-so. Well, don't allow yourself to be canceled. I'm living proof of it. Cancel me? Come cut my head off if you want me canceled. Otherwise, I'll continue forward. But hopefully, it's still here on YouTube if people will continue to follow my channels. Otherwise, I'll continue forward in other ways, like on the website. I thank you for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you as always, and your families.